he's written hits, dropped bangers, and now he's in New York City for his most intimate tour yet. Not only does he have his own label, but he also just released a new project with his longtime collaborator and friend Nic Nac. Coming to you live from New York City, Marc.
Hey, I like that. What's up, man? Thanks for making the trek out here and doing this. We had some technical difficulty the first round, so I'm glad that we were able to make it happen.
Round two,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. So let's get right into it. Early influences. Who would you say, I guess, kind of inspired your career, or not inspired it, but kind of gave you like an idea of the sound that you might want to go with?
I have kind of a blend of influences like every artist does. A lot of it is from my parents. My dad was from the South and grew up listening to a lot of doo-wop, Motown, a lot of like black music, essentially. Like, it's not a lot of white dads from the 90s that like played their kids like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and Donny Hathaway and the Marvelettes. And so I had like, I think being like, he grew up seeing these people live,
Yeah.
Like he saw the Temptations and the Four Tops like at his high school type thing. So I had this really cool like soul music, and he was very big on telling me like the roots of American music. So like the way that country music blended with the blues to create rock and roll. And he like impressed that a lot. We used to commute. My dad and I commuted an hour and a half to school every day, and he would give me like essentially like music history lessons. So that was happening on that side. So I learned like just folk music to where it fits in with the blues, folk music, all the way from the 40s on. Even like big band music. My dad taught me everything I know really about music history. So I had that. And then I was a young kid growing up in the Bay Area. So I listened to E40, Too Short, Mac Ma, Drew Down, like 90s. I'm older, so like I was like pre-hyphy era Bay Area music. And the biggest one was like Sly and the Family Stone is from the Bay Area. And that was part of my like 70s, My dad also took me from the Impressions into Curtis Mayfield, which took me into like 70s soul music. And then Sly is a huge influence because Sly is from where I'm from. He's from Vallejo, but from the Bay. And he was like making like psychedelic rock music and producing records for people like that while he was working with Billy Preston, making gospel music. And he was like someone that just put everything together. And so Sly's like tatted on my ribs. Like I love Sly and the Family Stone's probably Sly's one of my favorite artists ever. And then Tupac went to my high school.
Wow.
When I was 13, my dad passed away, and all I did was listen to Tupac. Like just like a little white kid, like fuck my life, just listening to Pac. And then like the fact that I grew up where he grew up, and I spent a lot of time around people that knew him. He's from a lot of places. Everyone claims Tupac, but he went to high school in Marin County at Tam High School, and he lived in Marin City. And I was there all the time in my teenage years. So Marin City had like a huge impact on me. And I think in a lot of ways it made me, just being around that area, it like made me humbled,
Yeah.
There's too many like little white dudes rapping who like never spent any time anywhere, and they just like, so when I was being like that and having so much reverence for like this area that made Tupac and a lot of other people too, it made me like, I'm not just gonna be like appropriate. I'm not gonna just go like talk like I'm hard and be rapping and shit like that. It made me wanna like be a musician. Like if I wanted to do music in my era, I couldn't just like pop shit and be like, I'm a badass. Like, or I have so much swag. Like, no, you don't, bro. You don't. Like, you just don't. Whoever you are, I promise you, you don't. So like, you actually, to me, it's like I have to be good at music if I want to have a career in this. So that had a big effect on me. And then as I just got more into music, bro, I just took every strand that I could pull and I just followed it. And like when it comes to you know, R&B music, I just explored R&B music all the way. And then I got into like 70s New York City, like television and the Talking Heads. And then I took that back into Thin Lizzy. And I just, bro, I listen to so much music and I try to get to the source of whatever I'm listening to. That's the biggest thing. It's like, I just don't listen to like the surface, the one hit. Like, if you like something, you have to figure out, to me, like, where does it come from and why is it good? And you have to like pull at that string and get all the way there. So, you know, all of that is kind of my background in music, I guess.
Yeah. One story I do want to ask, though, I love to talk about it last time too, was the jazz band story. I just think that is so awesome. When they saw you freestyling one day, they approached you and were like, okay, let's make a band.
So I was freestyling in high school a lot. That was a big thing. And I could beatbox too. That's actually, I didn't mention that. That's how I knew I could sing a little bit, because I could beatbox and put the...
Oh, that's better than Justin Timberlake.
You know, I could do that. I could put the note with it. If I knew like I could sing notes. Because when I beatbox, I was always trying to find a way to vocalize without really having to sing and be embarrassed. So I'll freestyle beatbox, and then I would do like these poetry slams. So I had this poem that I would do when I was like 13, 14. And I did one for my high school. And I was a jock in high school. So this was not my era. This is like before Instagram. It wasn't cool to like do poetry or even do music. You know, it was like I was in like a very typical cliche suburban high school. Like you get beat up for, you know, like just that. Like I played basketball. I was one of the best basketball players in my county. It was really good. That's what everyone knew me for. I rolled swisher blinds and I like talk shit in front of the school. That's it. Like you're not allowed to do anything else. So I would do my poetry thing like way over here to the side, but then as I got more confidence just in general, I just decided I'm gonna do one for the school. And so I like, or just not, maybe not for the whole school, like for, I was like maybe like 60 people, or like some class I had that was like 2 classes combined. I did one of my poems. And then the girls liked that though. So I was like, okay, this isn't a bad thing to do. This is cool. And then these kids from jazz band, they came up to me and they're like, hey, like, have you ever listened to the Roots? And I had not listened to the Roots at that point, but this kid that I had known, I'd always been in class with him, but we weren't that close. His name was Matt Reagan. Incredible, still to this day, the best musician I've ever played with. He was a guitar player. He's like, well, like if you should listen to the Roots or this band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And if you're interested, like you can do what you just did in the band, you know? And to me, since I was simultaneously like I was saying earlier, like I wasn't, even though I knew I could rap and I could freestyle, like that just wasn't, in my era, it wasn't cool. Like just to be frank, you know, it's just like being a suburban white kid and trying to like talk shit like that was super corny in where I was at, you know, especially when there's people really going through it who like live that life that you're talking about and they're with you every day. So I was like, I always didn't want to do that. And so I was like, man, in the context of like a jazz band behind me and then doing this, like being like conscious in what I'm writing, I could maybe do that. So I joined the band, and almost immediately I could write catchy shit and like write songs. It was like I had been writing songs in my head forever. And the first day I was in the room with the band, I just was like, this is the most fun I probably ever had in my life. And it took me about 6 months to be fully comfortable with it, but after 6 months, it was like my band. And then I had like, it's hard to explain, but even before I was good, because I really wasn't that good at first, but I was so passionate about it. And the other guys, they didn't know what type of person I was, like, because they didn't know having the background in basketball, like I had practiced. I was a serious hooper too. Like I played 5 hours a day since I was 9 years old. So I just applied that to music. You're fine. I applied it, and I just never looked back. Like I entered us into every battle of the bands. Like my guys weren't even thinking about it like that, you know. And I was like, no, we're a fucking band now. We have to be the best band in the world. And the first battle of the bands that we were in, we won. And I was like, I knew I was good at this. This is crazy. We won, and then we had like we won studio time, so we recorded a little demo, and that was kind of how everything got started.
That's cool. That's awesome. You've worked with obviously a wide variety of people, like Sean Kingston, Ty Dolla $ign, Chris Brown. Is there a song that you might have, wrote for them that you wish you had kept for yourself, or the most meaningful song that you maybe wrote for them? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it never came out. But one of the reasons that I started Marc E Bassy was I wrote a song for Chris Brown, and it was an acoustic song. And he was in a weird place in his career because like the Rihanna stuff had happened. So nobody was really touching him, but I don't know.
Didn't judge.
I was just there. I was just like, oh my God, I'm in the same room as Chris Brown. This is crazy. Anyone who's ever worked with him will tell you like he's so talented. It's really hard to do anything around him except just like
Bow down.
It's weird. It's like you'll think that it wouldn't be like that, and then you would have some type of standards or something. But like he's just so tall and long and good looking, and like he's just such a physical presence. And then when you watch him listen to music, I just like his fingers are like fucking pop locking, just like his hands. And you can just stare at his hand like, whoa.
And he can dance too, which is...
He's not even trying to dance. Just his fingers dancing is enough to make you like, whoa, you're like a superhuman. I heard Gashi one time. You guys know Gashi, the singer?
I don't think so.
He's a singer, but he was giving an interview and he's talking, someone said something about Chris Brown. He's like, no, Chris Brown can levitate. And it's like, I know what he meant. It's like being around him in the studio setting, especially like, cause this is my first time seeing him. I was just like, bro, I cannot believe how good this person is at this, And I've had this experience with like a few people like him, but he's one. So I gave him this acoustic song and he was like listening to it, and he'll never, if he sees this, he would never remember this. Oh my God, what? He was listening, and he was like also fucked up. Like, he was like rolling or something. I was like, who is this? Like looking like, who is this? I was like, it's me, bro. I made the song for you. I'm trying to change my life right now. I want you to sing this song. He's like, nah. He's like, you gotta sing this, bro. This
and it hadn't come out?
Good. It hadn't come out. And it was like after that night that I started putting my own songs on SoundCloud. Because I was just like, if Chris Brown is fucked up in the studio and is like moved by something that I'm singing, kind of proof that like I'm good. I already knew I was good too, but like it just made me like, even though like no matter who you are, if you boil whatever you're doing down to like your most authentic self, you can find something in yourself that no one else can do. And that's like for Chris, it's like he's just really that one guy who's like, it's like the same thing as being Michael Jordan. Like there can only be one guy that looks, sounds, and dances that well, Yeah. But other people have advantages too. And like being around someone that good, I've had the same experience with this musician who's not famous like that, but his name's Corey Henry. He's a pianist. He's probably the most talented musician of my generation alive on the planet, like one of them. It's like Jacob Collier. You know Jacob Collier? So these are just like musical geniuses who like when they get on the piano or on any instrument, they can just do anything. They can sing, they can do everything. So when you're around people like that, that's like, how am I supposed to compete? And I'm so competitive, it's like, but it turns out the only way to compete is by being as much like yourself as possible. So you're being so honest that it doesn't matter if you're not as good or you can't play like them or sing like them, dance like them, don't look like them, etc. And so I was like, having these experiences is very important because it really made me learn, like, oh my God, I have to like go into myself as much as I can. And I remind myself of this all the time because sometimes I'll go like 2 years and I'll just be doing some bullshit, like where I'm not actually being as authentic as I can. But anytime you're kind of like down and you need to figure out what to do, it's like, you can just be, if you be yourself more and more and more and more and more, that's where the come up always happens in there. And so these experiences I have with these crazy musicians, with Chris, with Sean Kingston, like that song, for example, that's how this question started, is like, that's what made me go like more into myself. And there's one song in particular, there's a song I gave to Dinah Jane that I'm on called Bottled Up.
Oh, I know that song.
But the demo of that song is really good too. I probably should have done something with that song. And there's another song that, actually I don't want to say that. That's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So my favorite album of yours, Folk Hero Funk. That's my absolute favorite. So versatile. Totally different than anything I feel like anybody has done. It's honestly, it reminds me of, like, I don't like to compare, but it reminds me of Brat by Charlie XCX because it's just so, each track is so different in itself. What was that like filming or recording that album? Was that your favorite?
Recording Folk Hero Funk was my favorite. It's the best. It's also my favorite album. I learned a lot. It was my first time that we had just like closed a deal. We made a lot of money. And I spent my own money on that album. And we went to Paris twice with like six plus people, rented a house, kind of just like a little place like this, but in Paris, you know. I went to this studio called Motorbase, which is where like Daft Punk started. Oh wow. Where the band Phoenix started. It's one of the best sounding studios, I would say. And it was an incredible experience, but I don't know, like I feel personally like the chapter of Folk Hero Funk is not closed. Like it's still, Folk Hero Funk is like my genre. Yeah. You know, and I gave the album the name, but really that's like how I would explain my whole artistic project. It was like the folk hero is just refers to authenticity. I'm not better than anybody. I never felt like that. Yeah. I'm sure some people would probably say I do act like a diva, actually, just for the record. So I don't want to act like I'm like hella cool, like, but
you don't act like a diva to me. I don't.
Okay, yeah. So I just being a folk hero is like the most important thing. You know, all my favorite people are just being with the people. You know, and being not being disconnected from the people that listen to you and the people that care about you. That's the folk hero side, and then the funk is just everything. Like funk music, and what that means is, it's like to me that's just like American music. You know, like hip hop is funk. Really, that's where it comes from. Funk comes from R&B, gospel, blues, and like I see. Can I ramble for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. I would love to.
Like I see a lot of people on TikTok, like they love to break people apart using music and talk about appropriation in music and like racialized music. And it's true, like to a certain extent, but what's even more true is like, you know, music is created all over the world in different ways. And the music that is American, like, you know, the organ was made in Europe in a cathedral. That's where Western music comes from, like that side. And the polyrhythms and the banjo and the djembe and all that was made in Africa. And like there was little hillbillies from Ireland, like doing Irish music over here, and there was slaves in the field playing blues over here. And like when all that shit got together, it made everything that we listen to. And it's like the most beautiful thing that should unify Americans more than anything is like music. Like our music is pulled from all of our common ancestry, and like it's really, that's like, there's no real melting pot damn near except music. So when people try to use that as something to like pick us apart, it's very discouraging to me, because it's the most inspiring thing in the world to me, how much music brings people together.
Yeah.
And even like there's a huge like there's a book, I'll just leave it at this. There's a book called Where the Blues Began, and it's like this guy Alan Lomax, and you know, it's like these little Jewish dudes in the Northeast were hearing about this music, and they couldn't do any music, but they were like dragging of something the size of a refrigerator onto an airplane and rolling it out into a field. Jesus. To be like, we have to record these people making this music. Like there's someone in a field that just made up his own scale, and he's singing this thing called the blues, and it's like, it's incredible, and it needs to be like documented. And so even just like the people, like it's not just the people who made the music, like you have to also consider the people who made it their life mission to record them doing that. Like that's so much love in there, you know, to like go that far to document these things. And then of course people are corrupt and they fuck it up, but just the idea of like American music to me is, that's something that everyone should be proud of as this collaborative American experiment. And if they can't do it, you know, it's like, that sucks to me. But I think people should really consider like, that's music, that's a good thing. Like that's something that brings us all together, and I really will stand behind that and argue to the death with anybody about that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No Hard Feelings Deluxe. When is that coming?
The Deluxe is coming in December.
December, okay. And about
short answer.
How about pop girls on your radar? Any pop girls on your radar that you would like to collaborate with?
This is my new pop girl. She's so good. Anna Vu. Listen to her voice. I'm just making you guys do this for 5 seconds, but
If I do it?
maybe I should.
That'd be good. Let's wrap up though. This good outro. I like that. So where can people find you online? Marc?
At Marc E Bassy
Perfect.
on Instagram. At Marc E Bassy official on TikTok. Check out my YouTube. We post a lot of stuff on there now. And we're ending with Hannah Vu.
I do.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was fun.
So excited.
And I go, doctor.
Excited for tonight's show?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong, and I call the pastor. Huh?
Like, I found him for you. You have a lot of good songs.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
very talented.
Thank you.
I'm going to listen to you for the rest of my life.
Man, I appreciate it.